Welcome to the Fear and Greed Daily Interview. I'm Sean Aylmer. It's a great time to be working in the tech sector. There are plenty of opportunities, and if you've got the right skills, you can expect to be in high demand. But it's still a very male-dominated industry. I'm talking to somebody today who's got a somewhat unique insight into the sector, not just as a woman in a senior technology role, but actually overseeing technology at a listed company, Seek, which is Australia's #1 employment platform. Lisa Tobin is the Managing Director of Technology at Seek. Lisa, welcome to Fear and Greed.
Thank you very much. Great to be here.
So given the dearth of women in senior tech roles, how did you end up there?
Well, it's a little bit by accident, actually, but probably goes to the core things that I love. I love solving problems. I love making things better. I love seeing strategy and execution. And that's really what technology delivers for most companies these days. So I literally did fall into technology because people were needed to work out what the business needed, how to leverage technology, what technology would mean for how they operated, how they could compete, what they could do. And so I became a technology person. This was last century.
Right. One thing about technology, which I think it sort of does it a disservice, it's such a broad range of skills are needed within technology. So not everyone has to be a coder, I suppose, is the point. You went through and talked about the need for strategic skills and solving problems. So when people think of technology, it is a lot more than knowing how to code.
Yeah, that's absolutely really important, Sean. It is one of the most diverse professions. And so there's really a whole body of different skills. And it's the breadth of those skills that, in my view, allow technology and strategy to be entwined successfully. So I think for me, with the increase in automation and with the fast pace of technology change, I've got to focus on the importance of interpersonal skills in technology. So what I call boundary riders that can really join the conversations across areas of business, across different technologies, and can orchestrate solutions that really fit a company's strategy. So at Seek, we're recruiting for a whole range of technology professions across a number of levels. So we have a deep passion for great software engineers, as you mentioned, and like many people, we can't get enough of them. But we also need those orchestrators, the joiners of solutions and teams, so the analysts and the project managers, the architects, the data experts for us, because every company's crown jewels is its data and the data they hold on behalf of their customers. And so then that brings you on to security. So you always need to keep the data that you are entrusted with on behalf of your customers safe. So there's just such a broad range of skills across technology.
There's also the things which, I worked in newspapers for many years, and as we were developing websites, I remember product people, which I had no idea what a product person was. But a product person, goes from technology to user experience. And I remember sitting next to one time, and she was saying, "I don't like that widget on that web page." No, I didn't like that widget on that web page either, but I didn't think I was allowed to say it. And this product person's whole role really was to make life easier for someone who wasn't a technologist. And what I'm telling the story because it just demonstrated to me she was a technology person without any coding skills, without any even project management skills. It was all about user experience for her.
Yes, I mean, technology now is that whole idea of human-machine interface. Technology is so pervasive in our lives that the real skill in deploying technology and the skills technologist needs to bring is to really understand that experience and that interface. So exactly the example that you talk about. And at Seek, we have multidisciplinary teams. So my software engineers with the product managers really sort of working together to understand how does it feel for our customers, for our hirers, for our candidates to use our services? What will they be wanting? How does it feel when that service comes after this service or that widget sits on that part of the screen?
Yep.
And that's a core part for many product companies of how they actually build better solutions. Okay. So that's very much core and central in what we do.
So is the sector as male-dominated as ever? Is it improving at all?
I think actually we've seen a really great realization and sort of, what I would call we've now got momentum that things are definitely getting better. So we've got that critical momentum of most people understanding that most workforces are much more successful by being more diverse and just simply reflecting the communities that they serve and they operate in. And so certainly for SEEK, that means diverse workforces that live in all of the countries we operate in. And we're seeing more and more females in the industry because of that breadth of technology needs that we just talked about. But there is always more to be done. I think we're sitting about, 30% of our workforce is female. That doesn't reflect, our broader communities. So we've still got work to do.
Stay with me, Lisa. We'll be back in a minute. My guest this morning is Lisa Tobin, Managing Director of Technology at SEEK. Okay, I mean, SEEK is somewhat unusual in that your management team is 50-50 male-female, and your board, I think it's 5 men, 3 women,
Yep.
which isn't 50-50, but actually relatively better than other ASX-listed companies. You've worked at National Australia Bank before, Transurban, and without reflecting on any of those companies specifically, what's it like to work in an environment where you do actually have a good mix? Is it the diversity of views? What is it that makes it different?
Well, yes, I strongly believe in the power of diverse teams, the diversity of thought and experience. And so the boards that I've come into contact with that have that diversity of gender, of experience, of thinking styles, their strategy is better. They understand that strategy is great, but execution capability is what really matters. And so they understand what it will take in terms of engaging a workforce, really understanding what the diverse stakeholders of any company now want. And as I said before, to have a board, to have a workforce that reflects the community and the different experiences in our community just helps any company understand what they need to do to be really successful and to deliver what our head of strategy and product calls a beautiful and frictionless experience.
That sounds like something that a head of product and strategy would say, a beautiful and frictionless
Yes.
experience. Not always easy to get to. Now, look, I
Really,
mentioned
really
that.
hard, but an ongoing goal that we have to keep striving for. And so a really good sort of, polar star or flag on the hill that really just does drive the passion in SEEK about the journey's never finished.
Well, I mean, I'll give you an example. I looked up the word cyber security professionals the other day and went to SEEK
Yes.
and looked up CYBER. That's all I put in. And there were 2,100 jobs in Australia for it. And it was actually a frictionless experience. And I mean, I think that is really important. I mean, what it actually also showed me is just how many jobs are available for people. And that was cyber. Presumably in technology, there's all sorts of demand for different jobs, but it was a frictionless experience.
Yes, and so I'm very glad to hear that. And I mean, you mentioned cyber, and you don't have to. You look in any channel and any media statement. All companies have a voracious appetite at the moment to gather and build a security team that really is fit for purpose in these very challenging times. I mean, most companies are managing to protect their defences and perimeters from literally hundreds of thousands of attempted intrusions a day. That's the world we live in.
Yep.
That's the game that needs to be played. And so for any company, building, supporting, engaging with a multi-skilled security team is simply just a cost of doing business these days.
Okay, so what are the sort of skills that employers are looking for? It's well beyond people who can work out whether their emails are being hacked.
Yeah, I think it goes back to what we were talking about before. Technology is so broad. The most important thing, I think, which is goes a little bit beyond technology, what I think is most in demand is that endless curiosity, that passion for learning, because technology is evolving so quickly. And a business's problems, the need for business agility and change in product, change in strategy is just increasing in pace. From our point of view, deeply understanding what our candidates and hirers really need, understanding how their world is changing means we need people with endless curiosity. And that's really the core attribute, I think. Technology skills change quite quickly. We need people who are able to continue to learn, that have a real passion for knowing what's next, how does this make what we want to do as a business get better.
So stepping back a bit, Australia's technology sector seems to have done really well in the last decade. And we've got some market-leading players, SEEK being one, REA being another, WiseTech Global, Xero, Afterpay, which of course has recently been bought, and we think of them as tech stocks, but they're basically services using technology. Where do you think the Australian tech sector will be in a decade or so?
I think it's all going to be around how we outcompete, as I said before, of that human interaction and technology. Technology is going to be blended into more of our lives, the rise of voice, of virtual reality, the ongoing march of automation and digitization in our daily lives. And I think for Australia, we just naturally, our culture is that we have inquiring minds and problem solving minds. And so I think we have the right psyche to tackle fast paced change. And so I think we'll continue to grow our presence in the global tech market. I think there's great awareness across businesses that is a market that we are well equipped to compete in. I think educators understand we need to skill our workforce in that way of thinking. I think our natural problem solving skills, so perhaps I'm very much a product of our culture, will allow us to punch above our weight in the world sector.
Lisa, thank you for talking to Fear and Greed.
Thank you very much, Sean.
That was Lisa Tobin, Managing Director of Technology at Seek. This is the Fear and Greed Daily Interview. Join me every morning for the full Fear and Greed podcast with all the business news you need to know. I'm Sean Aylmer. Enjoy your day.